all the bugs, they eat all the greens, they're well fed all winter, safe from foxes, and the little ones, you know, we have little ones, they can be in there completely safe and protected. It's yeah, I guess you could call it a bit of a game changer. Everything from, we use these trellises, we use these poles, I guess, the framing as really great trellises for cucumbers, and this is a picture of our cooperative. That's in full production. Sides roll up, doors on each side open wide, 6 to 8 foot openings, always covering as much soil as we can. If we don't have plants growing, we have either cover crops or wood chips for the paths. And we just did something really cool with the witch. We're trying to do this. This is a little bit, actually, we started doing it before Jean our team Fortier started doing it. He's kind of this famous guy up in Canada who said this. But basically, we figured we have these paths. We're gonna fill them as high as we can with wood chips. This is one of our free biomass resources. Well, in a year, as those wood chips are composting in place, we come with our walk behind rotary plow and we pop the wood chips that are now compost using the rotary plow up onto the beds. It's literally doing this cycle of fertility, so many folds, which I feel is permaculture at its best. Always, always multiple functions for every item, for every use, like for every resource.
What is the material made of that you said it rolls up?
Double layer 6 mil, 12 mil plastic.
Poly, yeah.
Poly plastic, basically, but it's thick and it's heavy duty. And it says recommendations say it only lasts 4 years. Ours is lasting well beyond that.
Yeah.
And so those are aluminum poles? Or
Aluminum poles, yeah.
Or steel.
Nolt's greenhouse is an incredible source of information and materials. They helped us through the whole process. We did construct it all ourselves. It took a while. But at least we got funded for the parts. All right, Mana Food Bank. They are our #1 purchasers, Farm to Food Bank program. We hooked up with them when I worked at Butler Montessori as the intermediate farm manager. We had extra produce and I asked around and they said, call them up. They'll do gleaning events. So people who had a lot of extra time or families that needed food come out and harvest and took the food. Then they turned it into a buying program. So literally what we do is we call up, we say we have this, or we write in, there's an app, we have 50 pounds of tomatoes, I mean, whatever we have, and they accept it, connect it with a local mosque, synagogue, like Vietnamese services or a school. A volunteer will pick it up. Of course, it's all bagged or boxed, washed and weighed, and they'll deliver it, and all we have to do is invoice it. So instead of running a CSA where we have a lot of waste because people are buying it for the greenwashing effect, if I feel good, I'm doing good, but I'm not actually eating this food because it's not part of my normal diet, and I'm not going to experiment, I don't have time to do it. It's going to people who really do need the nutrients. And we're trying to grow as many ethnic vegetables. So if it's going to the Vietnamese services, I'm growing the bitter melon, and they're getting the feedback of that was so good. I mean, they recognize this stuff. Their bodies are probably craving this. So, BCS, walk behind tractor. When you have a walk behind tractor and you get a chance to sit up and ride it, it's a very, very rewarding experience. So this is our compost spreader. We built high sides. It's all small scale, but there's just not much can go wrong with this. And so for small growers like us, it makes sense. And we got all the implements granted. Farm to Food Bank also gave us a grant to convert our barn, and with adding in 2 cold rooms, and with hopes of one day having a gathering room for also classes. And we do hope possibly one day our neighborhood, Darnestown, we can recruit residents to start selling or aggregating their extra produce here, so then we can go distribute it, ideally to schools. We would have multiple, because I think within 10 miles of us, we probably have over, I don't know, maybe 20 miles, 20 schools, all in every direction that are considered Title I, so those kids are not getting good nutrients in their diet. So we would love to partner with schools and then have the kids come to us. So all this is down the road and part of our envisioning. Except for the cold rooms, those are being processed now. Once again, here's a picture of the barn before. Found a lot of cool implements in there. And then this is where we house our woofers. That's an organization that connects people willing to work on organic farms with the farmers. And we also now have world packers. We've had people from France, all over the country, and China. Yeah, we're trying to make this, the goal is to make it a super insulated, passive heated concrete slab floor using solar, basically hot water solar, and then, yeah, future classes. All right, we had a power up grant. Of course, we had a 120-year-old home with only 200 amps, so we brought that up. The idea is eventually solar panels on the barn will do net metering and feedback and into the grid. So we're hoping for one day 100% off grid or carbon negative. And cover crop grants, these are now offered every single year. We have been exploring the wonderful world of cover crops. This one is teff. I don't know if you're aware, teff is basically the grain used to make the Ethiopian bread injera. And before you let it go to seed, it makes the thickest, most delicately, easily chopped and killed cover crop. And that's what you want. You want the soil holding, you want the biomass, and you want the ability to get rid of quick for your crops. This is moving into the more annual bed production. Annual rye in the high tunnel is just so reliable and really fast. You want a fast cover crop, go with annual rye. And lots of other cover crops, they keep the soils healthy. That's our raspberry, blackberry patch. This was a mix of winter oats, hairy vetch, tillage radishes. The radishes get so big and long and they rot and they smell horrific for about a week in that late fall. But then in the spring, you can go and plant your corn seed right in that hole. I know, pretty cool. All right, crimson clover for nitrogen fixing. This is a pretty cool grant we got 2 years ago. It was $30,000 over 3 years. I think Sally's applied to this next round, as have I, to kind of expand it. But what we're looking at is how can we sequester carbon? And there's three, what we've identified, school out in California is doing this, basalt rock dust, which is basically dust from gravel mines. It's like teeny tiny rocks, if you can imagine that, and there's a process called enhanced weathering, which grabs the carbon out of the atmosphere and locks it into those rocks for a long time. Compost and biochar. Biochar, are you all familiar with what that is? Yeah, okay. Was everybody? Oh, you're great. So yeah, we make our own biochar, and then these are the plots, and we're experimenting, and we're doing all of our soil testing, which you'll see on the next slide, with Cornell. Okay, well, actually, sorry, maybe not on the next slide. Sorry, well, we're doing all our soil testing with Cornell, which has one of the better soil testing labs. Very excited about the American chestnut. It took me 3 years to find the specific kind of chestnut. It's called badger set. The individual worked for 30 years trying to back cross and get the chestnut close to American as possible, and really vigorous. I think we started with 100, we're down to 50 trees. So we have plans to put those in West Virginia and maybe do some guerrilla gardening in Seneca Creek State Park. Everyone heard of guerrilla gardening? Yeah? So yeah, sneak them out there and wherever a big tree fell. Here's me spreading some of that basalt. It is the heaviest material we have, as Hallie and John know, because they purchased a part of it, and it's dense, but that's why it has those properties, right? It's rock in its finest form. There's the soil test I was telling you about. We're all probably familiar with all these great soil testing. Lots and lots of fun. We take 6 or 7 all over on these different plots. You'll see in another picture, but all throughout we take soil tests to compare. See, it's hard to show the improvement when your soils are pretty good, but this is the result of when you are taking care of your soils, right? I mean, we're in the 96 for water capacity, green is like the quote unquote best, and we're in the loam, clay loam, it's kind of our category. All right, yeah, this is just a blow up. I would say this is the closest thing to our general permaculture design. All the numbered beds are going to be food forest buffers. All the lettered are gonna be our annuals. So I can go in, maybe the next slide will show food forest buffers a little better. Yeah, so here's standing on the roof, looking out at the property. So I mentioned this I showed you this in another slide. Here we have the swale and the berm, and there's 10 of these. Can you see the little pots? Those are mulberries. This is repeated over across the property, as I said, about 10 times. And the idea behind this is annual beds are very, very destructive. You are digging, or well, even if you're not digging, even if it's no-till, you're extracting a lot of nutrients from that. You're disturbing soils to some extent. So in all my research, and this came out of my permaculture design class, it was the edges, and that's the edges of, in all nature, are highly productive. If you think about the beach, right? There's so much happening at that edge. And we see it. Seneca Creek State Park starts here, pretty much all the way down through here. We see so much productivity. So what if we created more edges on our property? So instead of doing alley cropping, which is a big kind of buzzword for grow trees in between your annuals and then plant high value like asparagus so you can make the money back while your tree fruits or nuts are growing. And then eventually that's going to get shaded out. Well, I didn't want that to get shaded out. We want to do like corn, beans, and squash longer term. So what was our kind of like, what did we decide to settle for? What was our kind of our balance? Short trees. Avoid the 40-foot pecans, right? And stick with the smaller trees. So you might see in the next slide, it might show a tree list. Well, here's the food forest buffer. Keep going. Lots of planting, solarizing, that's the state out. We love them all. Oh yeah, so here we go. So everything here, besides the chestnut, which of course are gonna live on the north side of the property, right? Don't worry what's behind them, and the pecans on the north side. Everything else is going to stay in the under 20-foot range. So we're not losing those really, really nutrient-rich annual beds. Go back. Here is our herbaceous layer. We had so many different lists, and it's such a long list, but it kind of came down to these. Like I said, I'll share this with you. This really is, I know, and some of them are not native, going off of some of them are not, but we're trying to find the balance between pollinator-friendly natives, but also food supply, right? And we feel like we've kind of hit it just by increasing the diversity. That's a lot of different plants, right? And they take up the food forest buffer. The idea is that you're taking up every different layer of light. I see it as light. So even the tubers, from the tubers to the low-growing ground covers to the 2-foot tall, like basically the herbaceous. That's the typical of what you think of herbaceous layer. Then you think about your vines, so your grapevines, your hardy kiwis, and your bushes like the Siberian pea shrub get pretty big. You can keep things small, like the currants, they might get big too. The elderberry, dwarf, and then you move up to these tree levels right here. So I just think of it as a mini, grand, big food forest. That's what I call the food forest buffers.
That works great. You don't have deer. Right. They'll take care of this whole layer.
So I think about it like this. Jesse's a hunter. We've thought a lot. Actually, when he first told me, he thought I was going to break up with him because I was a vegetarian. Sorry, I had to tell that story. Yeah, I'm a local for it. So if he hunts a deer or if we slaughter a chicken, I'll eat that meat. Yeah, I will. But outside of that, no. If they're buying like hamburger from the store, no, I'm gonna keep it in my backyard.
I have 6 deer and $2. Can you please come?
Sure. I had to wait till October, November.
Yeah, okay. So I thought about this. We imbalance their population by building the way we have, overgrowth, right? And we took away their predators, right? There are no major deer predators except for the coyotes are coming back, but they're still people shy. And so they'll take fawns, but they won't do their population isn't very high and they have to be very careful of human exposure. So we've created that imbalance. So, and I've gone through this in my head, so to balance that imbalance, that's why we have the deer fence, because and I realize this as well. If I was to try to do, if I was landed on the planet and tried to accomplish this, 300-400 years ago, I would have a tribe of people. And I've learned very much from having children. The school of the children was sustenance. There was working populations. Everybody throws in that term of child labor. That was their life. Their math went up to 10 in a lot of like numbers went up to 10. So there's a very fine balance of understanding, accepting technological advancement, like all the things Western civilization has done, but where did it leave us? So I think about, there's a lot of kind of big philosophical ideas, but I like to think about that I cannot expect to have the same experience trying to create a regenerative, sustainable, like indigenous style living organism because we're not there. So we have to make amends, and that's why volunteers come in, and that's why we do things like the deer fence. And I realized I cannot run this farm. It was never meant for 1 or 2 people or a family of 4 to run this and do this. And that's why community becomes such an essential part, and education. So many people have come and worked on my farm, and somehow I've learned, either directly from them or from others, that they've gone on to do a similar project. I want to grow my own food too. It's really rewarding. And
you have muscadine grape down there.
yeah, muscadine.
Has anybody ever had any experience with what we used to call fox grapes? Apparently when the Vikings first discovered America, they called it Vinland because there were so many vines. And the fox grapes are the ones that had, grape nuts came from because the seeds of the fox grape are so relatively huge.
Yeah.
And so my question for you is going to be, did they breed that out, and do you know any people who are growing fox grapes?
That's great. Oh, I don't know. we have wild grape, and I remember eating them and feeling like, oh wow, the seed is massive, and there's only a small amount of pulp, like a ring of pulp almost.
Exactly.
That could be the wild grape that's here now.
But the seeds commercially now, they call them technogenol, and they charge an arm and a leg. It's very, very good.
There's some kind of medicinal in them?
Big time.
Oh,
you can look up technogenol, PIC.
I will. Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, keeping the natives around. There is no harm in it. I mean, I talk about bringing in all these things, but yeah, if there's going to be a native and it's going to flourish, keep it. Baby. All right, biochar, you all kind of know about that. We had a lot of biomass early on. Community, I think this is a lot of these slides. You can just keep rolling through. I wish I had some music to inspire everybody. But
What were they doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, what were they doing? I'm sorry, go back, Ash. So we had a 2.5-year-long cooperative post-pandemic, twice a week, over 10 families. All the kids, the parents came out. So, we were outside. It was safe. And this was a human chain that we created. Mariano and all the kids. A lot of these families were unschoolers, so they weren't too worried about the classes the kids were missing or whatever, And it was due to this cooperative that I feel like we became a farm. This was the transition we needed to reclaim land, to get so many elements organized, right? And
What was the end result here?
Oh, bringing all the wood to, go ahead. This, the biochar kiln. It's made in such a way that the cool air comes up from the bottom side, circles over the heat, and creates a flame curtain. So you're not losing any of the greenhouse gas emissions. It's all staying in the wood. It's just basically a huge charcoal maker. The bio comes in when we add all the nitrates and the phosphates from the chicken manure and the bokashi to that, and then it's charged biochar. And then that becomes a home for microorganisms because it's so porous, and it also becomes a nutrient source. right? The phosphates and the nitrates, and a carbon sequestration. Carbon will stay in that charcoal for up to 100 years. Yeah, it's really great when
So
harvesting it.
there's not a cover on this. There's no cover per se.
No.
No, it's the flame curtains allows it. They're smokeless, except for the very beginning when you're burning all like the little branches. Yeah, it's completely smokeless. It's amazing. Yeah. Oh, it's terra preta. It was founded in the Amazon. The Spaniards went and they just saw black earth around all like the tribal villages. Like, what is this? Well, it's the dumps. It's over time they would dig the soil, use the soil for maybe other purposes, and they'd put all their trash in and burn it. Well, then they figured out this is the richest part of the entire Amazon, our entire backyard, and they would plant seeds, grow seeds there, because you know the Amazon soils are thin. So they figured it out by accident, and then it translated into terra preta, black earth in Portuguese, I believe, and then now we're using it. We're using that indigenous knowledge. It's really beautiful. Yep, emptying it out, crushing it up, all kinds of fun in the middle of winter. And Farm to Food Bank, our number one watermelon guy. That's his obsession. First year he grew 6. Last year, 30. And this year he has big plans. He was getting top dollar from Farm to Food Bank for his watermelons. We grow all kinds of vegetables. The list just keeps going and going. And we get boxes, throwaway boxes from Mom's Organic Market to put it all in. And mostly retired people come and pick it up in electric vehicles. And yeah, those are our earnings. $22,000 for 7,500 pounds. Woofers, 1,000 hours I guesstimated annually. I mean, it's significant. A lot of my work goes into the teaching, the explanation, and sometimes fixing the mistakes, which is really hard. But it's all good. Keep on. You can scroll on through these. If anyone wants, point at something if you want me to explain it. But there's our hemp crop. This is kind of cool. We grew 90 plants of hemp for CBD.
So WOOFers means worldwide opportunity?
On organic farms. That changed. When I first woofed in 2000, it was willing
Well,
workers.
that's not all I have.
Worldwide, WW.
Okay,
Opportunities on
organic farm,
organic farms.
and the ERS, or just,
It's the name of the person who does it. Woofers.
okay.
Do you house them?
Yeah, so many have camped. We have this great little like forest and camp spot. Now I think at one point we were using a bedroom that's kind of semi-connected to our house. Now we have the barn. Did you see the bedroom in the barn? Yeah, we just had a Chinese person here for 3 weeks, and he was just detoxing from the city, and I guess the Chinese communist. Yeah, he was on asylum to the U.S. So we get so many diverse people, and they're all really there either to learn or detox or get away. I feel like it's a bit of a safe haven. Yeah, because it's so close to the city, so they're not like kind of spending a ton of money to get to us, right? They can take the metro. We'll pick them up from the metro. Jesse works in Arlington. He can literally say, hey, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. or 3, catch a ride to or from. It works out great.
Do you think there's going to be a change in the folks who are able to come?
Because of the political situation, well, I don't watch the news, so I would just have to wait and see. So, go ahead. Yeah, more of it. Keep up on us. Keep on. So many beautiful people. Homeschool cooperative. Everybody having so much fun, right? I mean, there's nothing like working with those around you for a common cause. Oh, May Days, go back a little bit. We also have a little fun. It's okay, Ashley. Right here, Maypole. Of course, our dance was horrific. We had no idea. Up, down, whatever. It didn't matter. It's just communing, right? They do that down in the state park. Kids everywhere. A lot of these kids, the parents have told me, you know, during that electric outage we had, all my kids just started building composting toilets. They started, digging out beds. All these things they remembered from the farm. We're off grid now. Lots of beautiful mutations. There's all of us. Keep going. Just scroll through. once a week now. I don't do it this is a heart of joy. So this is where learning your limits. Yeah, we're talking about what can we do, right? So I've started to realize, after one knee surgery and another one pending, I realize I can only do so much, So what I'm learning is if I can find someone who is on the same page as me and they're willing to do it, and I can say, oh yeah, I'll charge you $400 a month to rent the whole farm, and I can jump in and teach the kids what you don't know and be there for half an hour, give them that farming experience, the technical information. Let's do it. So this has been going on for 2 years now and ready to go for many more years, let's hope.
Don't quite follow the rationale and the structure of this. Heart of Joy Learning Co-op rental for whom?
So we rent the farm to them. A woman leads it, but I'm kind of there saying, guys, want a farm project? I sure could use a whole bunch of little kids carrying 5-gallon buckets and putting wood chips. I mean, I look forward to Tuesdays because those are all my big fun job days when these kids are age 5, they're stomping on the wood chips, up to 14, shoveling and doing all, it's amazing. These are all homeschoolers.
How did they find you?
Well, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but like right when the pandemic happened, I was probably the only one on Facebook back then saying, we're opening a new program. It's all outside, and got those 10 families right away. Brenda very much is in every homeschool group in Montgomery County. There are very few teen homeschoolers, so when my kids hit like 16-year-old, 13-year-old, they just didn't have any friends in that group, so we moved away from it. But yeah. Okay. Oh, Sunny Creek State Park. Okay, the umbrella and growth edges. I know it's getting late, so we'll keep moving through this. Sorry. Our neighbors, neighbor harassment. There was a tree over here, standing dead timber, about to fall on the new fence we put in because they complained about the electrical work we were doing, even though everything was legal into code. And they left the trees blocking the entrance that our volunteers used to pick up food from our cold room, which lives in here. So had to bring the Montgomery County Department of Ag in, all of course the county officials that were saying, oh, this is an so it all, keep going, it all ended up being like, yes, she's running her operation in accordance with the county zoning code and there are no violations. And of course now once the word is out, leave this farm alone. They really aren't doing anything wrong. We've had no issues at all. So kudos to Montgomery County. Certain inspectors weren't siding with us. You just keep going up the chain, like the telemarketers, right? Or the issues on, you just keep going up the chain, and people came out. Oh, the fire marshal came out once. Remember that? Twice. And he walked through everything. We were having a homeschool cooperative, and he comes up to me and says, I was homeschooled, and I love what you're doing. And if we don't have the code to let you do this, we'll make it.
I know.
I know. I was just
What were they upset about?
What? Okay, yeah, great question. When we moved in, our yard was wilderness, and every neighbor that is complaining now enjoyed that level of privacy and quiet and nobody there. The renters stayed in the house and never walked back. So when we started moving in and changing things, that became an issue. Our privacy's gone. What are they doing? I don't care that they're growing food and selling it to the food insecure. These are very, very wealthy residents. And once you go to somebody's own backyard, all that greenwashing really shows its true face. And they say, I don't care about it. It's my backyard. I don't want this in my backyard, so I will do everything in my power to stop them. Right. So luckily the county sees differently. Hip Camp once again got complained about. But on the positive side, there's some companies out there, Compost Crew. They go around Montgomery County looking for ideal sites, most of them on farms. They actually charge residents to pick up their food waste, take it to the most local composting site, turn it into that compost, and then sell it back to the residents. So It's a way of recycling all the biomass. Catalyzing agroforestry, unfortunately this was a federally funded grant. Spent a lot of time applying just this past spring, and then a year to Nature Conservancy. We've lost a whole bunch of funds, but it's a great way. I found every time you write a grant, for if you guys are doing this, every time you write a grant, you're solidifying the concepts in your head, so they're never a waste of time, even if you don't get them. It was how I got the 3-year 30,000 notice. I wrote a very, very idealistic one, didn't get it from this place, and said, hey, let me tamper it down, make it more relatable to the commercial farmers, and then we got it.
So are you expert in writing grants?
I don't know, I don't know. By now,
How long have you been doing it?
yeah, so when we got our first grant for the high tunnel, but I didn't even have to try for that because that's a given with the USDA, so probably about, 7 years. But every January, February, the farmer's sitting there like, it's not warm enough yet to do anything. I have to put all this mental energy to work. And the county's so good about sending you the grant opportunities. So every single one that comes in, I'm like, sure.
Do you do workshops of applying for grants?
Yeah, but I am transitioning as I get older to more education, right? And I can pay the young, spry people who are interested in learning skills to do the skills, and then I can do the teaching. So yeah, it's kind of on my bucket list. Yeah, but a lot of this is grants. I did work for Earthship, the Greater World Earthship community in Taos, New Mexico when I was 20-something. And I remember his slideshow presentation at the end of the week of volunteering. And in every single project he talked about, he kept saying a grant. I was like, so did you pretty much do all this off grants? He's like, no. I was like, but what about? He's like, oh yeah, you're right, I did. Yeah, I mean, it's a funder. It's a great funder. And now in the climate today, absolutely. All right,
Wow.
we're coming to the end. Chicken of the
Kentucky.
woods, native to our backyard, Seneca Creek State Park. Why we named our property after it? Because it's the only mushroom I could spot. I'm horrific. It's bright orange, can't miss it, but also it's so tasty, and it's one of the mushrooms that's incredibly hard for us to culture, right? To grow on our own. It's kind of a statement of we just can't control everything. Let some of it be out of our controlling fingers. And then our experience with chicken shows, yes, everybody wants to kind of put the chickens in the pasture, but they are the descendants of Tyrannosaurus Rex. They love going through the understory, clearing out. I mean, those little feet, all the time. They always choose our tiny little patch of forest. It's easy digging. The bugs are way healthier than in the fields, and so it's their happy place. So find, what it taught me was, find everybody's happy place on the farm. Just find it and let them go to work. Even Austin in his watermelon patch.
So is that the
How did you
same?
prepare that?
Sorry.
How did you prepare that mushroom? I had a couple of those, and I was taught to be very careful with mushrooms, so I didn't touch it. I just admired it, but then I was told you should have eaten it.
Yeah. Saute it up like fried chicken.
Is that the same as my taki?
Ooh, I don't know that one, but I know there's the Hen of the Woods.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, yeah, it's similar. I don't think they're not identical,
No, they're different.
but they're both edible.
Yeah, I think so.
Jesse actually just went morel hunting in West Virginia this past weekend.
Mm.
All right,
Not yet, too early.
next one.
Successful?
Oh yeah.
No.
The
A
beauty.
little early.
Yeah. Beauty. I just love them. They're so intelligent. A woman in Boston had a lot of time on her hands, and she sat there listening to her children, chickens, and found 200 specific different clucks meaning different words. Yeah, I know. For her, I've heard it. Yeah, Walter's in shock. I've heard the rooster tell the hen, "There's food here. You may want to come quickly." And I've heard the mother hen tell the chicks, "Come now, get under me." I mean, it's amazing.
Mm.
I'm really.
I was going to say the chickens also can pick up on your emotions. They picked up. My daughter had some chickens, and she was very upset about something. So the chicken sat on your shoulder and just put a head on your shoulder.
Animals do stuff like that, yeah.
Pardon?
Animals will do stuff like that, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Animals.
Chris was amazed. Or so a couple times she got to put them in the coop, and one of the chickens would come up the steps on the deck.
Hey.
Door and they would go
Get into your shelter area now.
Exactly, foxes come in.
Yeah, Fox is
Yeah.
coming. We need to get some shelter now.
And this is probably why we've never been without hens on our farm. I mean, you almost feel, and a rooster, because it's, I don't know, they're like a family. I mean, it's once you feel like this farm is your extended family, you just wouldn't have a family without maybe kids around, right? And so it's that same way. The farm family, you wouldn't have a farm without chickens around. So yeah, it's really hard to describe that feeling, but I'm really proud of this salad. I kind of let the high tunnel go a little bit to the weeds, but it ended up being just a whole bunch of incredibly delicious greens. I forgot, I think we went through this at one point, but there's like 12 different either flowers or leaves in this amazing salad from the high tunnel. And this is just eye candy for people who like farming. Go ahead. Asparagus, our grow room, that was purple passion asparagus. Oh, drying the corn in the fall. Lovely. Our garlic harvest and garlic hanging. Seneca Creek, our favorite swimming spot. Just the beauty. Maples. Sweat Lodge. If anyone's not doing anything, April 27th, we're having Land Day. It's kind of celebrating our anniversary of buying land. Big farm party. The farm, the family farm. Jessie, my mom, who's a city dweller but has taken care of the whole farm on her own for up to a week. She's 76, very amazing. The guys and our Scotch collie, I can't rave about her enough. Gosh, and smile on his face. Scotch collies, the almost extinct breed of dog that was the family farm dog, and now that the family farms have since kind of gone away with Big Ag, they went away, but now they're bringing them back. That's why the official name, not AKC bred or anything, old time Scotch collie. And that's what she does. If she sees there's any living friend to us or the farm, they are now a friend to her. And if there's anything that we don't like, squirrels, raccoons, groundhogs, deer, rats, deer, mice, voles, she is a tack killer dog. And she has fought a raccoon to its death as well as a groundhog.
Whoa.
Amazing. She's lucky she didn't get sick.
I was gonna say, they look like foxes.
Yeah.
Like giant.
Yeah, and a cross between almost the wolf. They're a sign.
Yeah.
Her eyes are golden. Jesse and I adopted a dog. We both came home with the same pet finder ad 20 years ago, and he was part Scotch collie. We walked down the city streets as we were in Arlington. People were like, "What kind of breed do you have? What kind of breed do you have?" And we just made up a breed. He's a Spanish foxhound. Thank you very much. We didn't know, and but finally figured it out, and we're breeding her in May. So once again, keeping the cycles going. Her daughter, she will train. And of course we'll sell the extras, but that will keep that knowledge base even among the animals of our farm.
These are not indoor dogs.
Great question. As soon as the chickens go in and get locked up, she comes in. So she sleeps with us, and when we go out, and she wants out at dark, right, to chase things off. But then she comes back in, and then when we go out to let the chickens out, she's out all day long. And yeah, sometimes she complains and tries to sneak in, but she knows her job. Take care of the chickens.
So you gotta keep your paws clean a lot.
Somewhat.
They say they have, there's this term of this breed, is it like Velcro clean or something?
Yeah.
Once it dries, just falls right off. Like she'll go through the manure pile and compost pile. Even our rural packers, like, she's filthy. I'm like, it'll go away. It just comes off. It dries and it's gone.
You said you're gonna breed her soon?
Yeah.
Do you talk with other families about other dogs that you wanna breed with, or do you?
Yeah, it was there is an old time Scotch Collie database.
Okay.
On that database, it took me 2 years to find an unrelated local stud, but she's out in Winchester, and yeah, so we're all in
Sweet.
contact. We have already 3
Hope
people who've
that
signed
they
up to buy.
And you hope that they will connect.
Yes.
Well, we had dates, and Siri's not doesn't get along with too many dogs. Like she's such a business oriented dog. Like she's like work done. But no, her and this other this stud, they did the paws down at the identical time. And she's never done that. You know how they say to play? They go like this. Well, her and that stud did it at the exact same time, and they just played and played and played. But the funny thing about the suburban dog versus the farm dog, his name is John Wick. He started barking as if to say, "Let's play." And she's like, "Where? Danger, where? Because that's what she does to alert us. If there's a crow in our flying space, she'll bark. It's not allowed. Nothing is allowed except what we say is allowed. He's incredible. All right, come see us, chickenwoods.com. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys listening.